Hello, everybody. Thank you for downloading episode 37 of We Got This with Mark and Hal. Two very quick things. Number one, I, Hal Lublin, will be appearing in the December 5th edition of Spontanea Nation Live at Largo with Janet Varney, Annie Savage, Paul F. Tompkins, of course, and special guest Ron Funches. You can still get tickets. All proceeds go to charity, so go to bit.ly/spont, S-P-O-N-T, 1215. That's spont 1215. Also, our producer Ken Plume is doing some really cool stuff. Mark and I have both been guests on his podcast, A Bit of a Chat, and you can see more of what he's up to at kenplume.com. So I encourage you to check that out. He talks to incredibly insane celebrities, definitely worth adding to your podcast subscription list. And he's got a bunch of other projects going on. So go to kenplume, PLUME.com. And now, without any further ado, episode 37 of We Got This with Mark and Hal. Hello, I'm Hal Lublin.
And I'm Mark Gagliardi.
Since the dawn of humanity, one issue has gone unsettled. With the fate of the world in the balance, we're here to settle, once and for all. Should we keep the penny?
That's right. Don't worry, everyone. We got this.
Podcast should have a theme song. Podcast should not have a theme song. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. They sound good. Yeah, but people are just going to skip past it. You know what? You're right. We got this.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hello, America and the world. The world. People listen to this all over the world, Mark. Did you know that?
That's amazing. No, I didn't know that. I don't know these things. Hi, Hal.
Hello, Mark.
It's nice to talk to you again. We've been on a little bit of a break because we banked a bunch of episodes.
We did.
And now we are, and also because I was in Los Angeles for a little while. So we got to do a few where we saw each other, but now we're back together doing me sitting in my studio in New York, you and yours in LA, just you and me, mano a mano, figuring out the world.
Yes, I have this giant, rich home studio. All the trappings of the kitchen table in my apartment as I stare at a thermostat.
I'm on a beach.
Oh, of course you are. I'm sorry to reveal to everybody. I feel like the Wizard of Oz. You've seen the schlumpy middle-aged guy behind the curtain turning all the wheels and popping all the levers.
If anybody watched our chocolate episode, they know what it looks like when we record these.
That's true.
I mean, I don't always wear my Hal shirt like I did in that video.
But you should.
Hey, you know what? I think you're right. Hang on a second. I'm going to go put it on.
Great.
Walk, 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 walk. Changing clothes noise. Walk, 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 walk. And I'm back.
Oh, that was completely audio realistic.
All right. Today, we are going to talk about the penny.
We are. This was actually suggested by another user / listener on Reddit. This is OC Cupid, so it's OCKUPID 2, and that's on the Reddit, the Maximum Fun Reddit. They've taken the suggestions thread and made it a sticky, which means it's right up at the top. So if you go to the subreddit, you'll see it there, and you can get involved in the very passionate arguing that's being done. But this topic, Mark, is?
This topic is, should the penny still be in circulation?
Correct.
Now, this is an interesting one for us because normally we do really mundane things. And not to say they're mundane, they're incredibly important to our listeners and to us, but to the public at large, they would find them mundane. But we have found a topic that actually, and this is why this one was interesting to us, there's actually legislation out there about this topic.
I was actually amazed by that. You knew that and I did not. I thought for sure, like, is this something people argue about? But then apparently the government is arguing about it.
Yeah, the government is actually arguing about it. Not really a ton of people. Just one guy. It began back in 1990. And this was when the penny was worth even more than it is now. Jim Colby, a representative from Arizona, he proposed the Rounding Act of 1989, H.R. 3761, to eliminate the penny in cash transactions, rounding to the nearest nickel. In 2001, he did it again. And in 2006, he introduced the currency overhaul for an industrious nation, or the Coin Act, H.R. 5818. That was how this is basically one guy's crusade that he is on to end the penny. I don't know what Representative Jim Colby has against the penny, but I think it's worth hearing out. Hal, what do you think?
I think he's the guy in my office. We see in my day job, we have a system where people can suggest stuff, and it could be anything from we should have different pizzas on Friday. That's a thing. To this one guy will not let go of a foosball table, and it's been. I've been there for 6 years, and we're no closer to getting a foosball table than we were 6 years ago. But every time, and the last time it was suggested, it was like, hey guys, I'm just going to throw it up there again. I think the foosball table's a great idea. Guess what? Nobody wants the foosball table.
Does he just want the place to feel like the Google office?
Exactly.
He doesn't even play foosball. He just wants fun stuff in there.
Yeah, we've got to have a slide immediately, and we also have to have a foosball table.
And a Ferrari calendar. Can we get a Ferrari calendar?
But from 1985.
Oh, I love those.
That was a great year for Ferrari calendars.
Sure, and they always seemed to be parked on lasers. I don't know how they managed to do that.
Why do we not have that technology yet?
Yeah, laser parking.
Why isn't he on top of getting laser parking rather than trying to eliminate poor little Abraham Lincoln on a coin? Like this,
I know, man.
The equivalent of that guy in my office. The people who are electing this guy, and it's happened many times. He's been doing this for how many years now? Like
since 1990. So yeah.
It's the 25th anniversary
16 years.
of him wasting the money of the people who've elected him.
How?
Yes.
I feel like you need some convincing. Can I offer some convincing arguments for this? Again, I've not decided either way, but this guy makes a convincing argument.
You know what? I've not decided either way either, but what annoys me is that this guy won't let it go. And does he come from a town where everybody hates the penny? Like it's some weird footloose town where instead of getting rid of dancing, they've gotten rid of pennies and they're real proud of themselves. It just seems crazy. I mean, we should certainly hear some arguments, but I don't care for pennies, but it just seems weird to make that your life's work.
Well, I'm sure he's introduced other bills. This seems like one that, he did it once and then he did it again 10 years later, 11 years later, and then it again 5 years after that. I'm sure he was doing other things in the interim, voting on several pieces of landmark legislation that have happened in this country, not just sitting in his office going, what are they talking about out there? I don't care. I'm going to figure out this penny thing once and for all.
Oh, no, I think that's exactly what he's doing, unless he's spending the intervening time to this is a bill to get a Miss Pac-Man machine in the cafeteria downstairs. A lot of people here have said they like Miss Pac-Man. Has been around since 1982, pretty much a national institution. So that, and also, you can put all your pennies in there. It'll totally take pennies and not burn them and melt them down into bracelets.
That's not true. They won't take pennies, will they? Miss Pac-Man will only take a quarter because a penny is pretty useless. A toll booth won't take a penny. Most vending machines won't take a penny.
Yeah. Even the machine that smashes pennies into souvenirs won't take other pennies as payment.
It has its own pennies in there now.
Yeah, because I think that machine feels like it's like transacting with a prostitute. They're like, all right, just put the penny in. Let's get this over with. No kissing.
Don't look me in the eye.
Yeah.
When we were down in Auckland, New Zealand, I went to the museum down there, the big national museum, and they had one of those machines. But Auckland doesn't have the equivalent of a penny. I guess the rest of New Zealand doesn't as well because the currency is in Auckland is the same as it isn't. Anyway, they don't have pennies down there. And they had in this machine a stack of blank American pennies, just like little copper discs that you would put your money in, and then would shoot one of those into the hopper and you would grind it and get an image of the building or whatever it was inside that, whatever the other logos they had. But I thought it was funny that we take the penny for granted, I guess. That's an argument in favor of keeping it. There's something sweet and American and nostalgic about the penny. That's something distinctly ours.
Sure, it has debatably our greatest president on it.
Wait, Teddy Roosevelt isn't on the penny?
I forgot you're a Teddy Roosevelt guy. I said
Yeah.
arguably. I did say arguably.
We'll argue anything. We'll do that one later.
Like, do you ever get one of those old pennies where
Mhm.
it says the 1 cent and then it has the original Captain America shield on it?
The Captain America shield one was added later on. That was a remake of the pennies they did, I guess, in the mid 2000s, where they had that logo with the shield on the back. It used to be 2 leaves, like 2 olive branches, and said 1 cent, right?
Yes.
But that was that, and it's fun to get an old penny. I love getting old pennies. I have one that I've kept that was from like 1944. I think, wow, this is World War II was happening. We were fighting against Hitler when this coin was introduced into the world. So there is something sort of magical about that.
You know, that penny could have been used to pay for a newspaper after VE Day.
That's true. That was that sailor that got it in Times Square. He bought a newspaper, read that the war was over, and then dipped and kissed that dame. Of course, he probably knew that the war was over since he was back.
You don't think he got lost? Oh man, I'm in Times Square. I'm really gonna get in trouble for this one.
Oh, never mind. Shore leave's all cool now.
Yay, we did it. I'm gonna go hide. But do you? I don't like to carry any change.
I don't mind carrying quarters because they're worth it.
But so what do you use quarters for? Because you don't.
Well, you know
use
what?
Parking meters, really.
No, I actually, now that I live in New York, I haven't needed quarters as much.
Right.
Because I would use them for parking meters and laundry in Los Angeles.
Sure.
And now I don't have to pay for laundry, not to brag. So I don't need the quarters for that. And I don't drive, not to brag. So I don't need the quarters for parking meters.
Yeah. Well, and out here in LA, most parking meters now take cards.
Yeah. Most laundromats take cards.
Yeah. So you really like coins in general are sort of becoming an endangered species. Like all right, if I'm going to hold on to any coins, I would want quarters, because in my mind, I still equate quarters with going to the arcade when I was a kid.
Sure.
Quarters, a game of Miss Pac-Man. It's Donkey Kong. It's Punch Out. You know, it's Paperboy. It's all those fun games.
No. Keep going. I want to see how many you can list.
Oh, sure. It's Bad Dudes. It's Double Dragon. It's
all right. Look, here's the thing.
621 AD.
Jesus, you really do have all of them, don't you?
I do. Well,
best retro video game.
I'm the money behind that congressman trying to get a multicade machine into the break room.
Oh, Colby. All right. Well, while we're on this topic, we'll go back to the arguments for getting rid of the penny, but this feels like we are on to the arguments for keeping it. And I feel like the arguments for keeping the penny are kind of in line with the arguments for sitting by the window on an airplane as opposed to the aisle seat. The aisle is for the pragmatist. The window is for the dreamer. Keeping the penny is for the nostalgic dreamer, and getting rid of the penny is for the pragmatist in the world.
You know, maybe. I don't know if that quite holds water with me, because I think that somebody who's pragmatic might have pennies on them just so they can. Do you ever have that?
For what? What would you have them for?
Because if you're on that never-ending quest to get rid of all your change and have exact change, you need a penny or two in your corner.
You're talking about 1/10 of 1/10 of 1% of super weirdos.
Yeah, and that guy got elected.
Now, granted, have I in the past known what my bank account balance was and gone to the gas station and pumped exactly the right amount so the change would be 00 in my bank account? Yes.
I can't believe how sick your brain is. It's really.
I've really done that. You never did that?
I've done the thing where when you pump the gas, you try to get it to be an exact even number.
Oh, and then it does like 2001 and you're like, I busted. I just lost this hand of blackjack.
Exactly. I feel completely defeated. I've been defeated by this Arco pump. It's terrible. That's they think that Terminators is the realization of machines defeating man, but it's really when you can't pump out an exact amount of gasoline.
Yeah, that's how you know gas is too expensive. One teeny little pump isn't a penny's worth. It's like 3 cents worth. So you go over, you know.
Yeah, there's it's almost eliminated, which again, should it be a 3-cent coin instead of a single penny? Like where?
No. What the hell's the point of a 3-cent coin?
Exactly.
Look, if you're carrying around 1 quarter in your pocket, that's the equivalent of carrying around 25 pennies. Let me get into some of these arguments.
Go for it.
Here's one. This is going to be a lot of numbers. We don't usually do numbers on the show, but I think this is fascinating. As of 2013, it cost 1.8 cents to mint a penny, which means, right? Yes. So you're seeing what's happening.
Listen, I'm no Ford, but let me tell you a little bit of something about business. It should never cost you more than you make. You can't make something that costs more than the value of it.
Exactly.
You can't sell it for, like, they can't sell pennies for 2 cents and then be making a little money on every penny.
Here's an additional bit of financial flip-floppery. In 2007, the price of the raw materials from which pennies are made exceeded the face value of a penny. So the actual raw materials in the penny are worth more than the penny. Now, what is preventing someone from backing up a truck full of pennies to a giant fire and melting them all down and getting a return on his investment and eliminating pennies from the marketplace? That would, if someone did that in aggregate, like a supervillain, that could wreak a little havoc.
That's the worst supervillain plan ever.
I'm just going to melt all these pennies.
Yeah. The only hero you need is a fireman to put out the fire. And they're already heroes. Okay, everybody,
yes, they are.
Back off.
Yeah, stop pretending that we don't think that firefighters are heroes. We do. And how dare you say they are not?
Jeez.
So that is one. Here is another one that I think is fun. The median wage in the U.S. as of 2011, this is when all this stuff was done, was $17. This is before minimum wages had gone up or anything. Which means at that point in time, it took 2 seconds to earn 1 cent for the average person.
Right.
So time-wise, it is not worthwhile to stop and pick up a penny if you see one on the ground.
No, well, here's the thing. Just put some double-sided tape on the bottom of your shoes, and you'll pick it up as you're walking. That's more efficient.
You are a genius.
Thank you. Check out my new website, stuffyoucanputonyourshoes.com. Tons of tips. Tons of them. Did you ever, no, you know what? You're probably the one person who also did this. Did you ever take the flathead thumbtacks and put them in the bottom of your sneakers so you could make tap shoes?
No, I did not, but I love that you did. I really didn't. I never tried to make tap shoes as a kid. I didn't. I mean, I have tap shoes. They're in my closet right now. I owned 4 pair of jazz shoes. If I was going to get tap shoes, if I was going to need tap shoes, I'd have just gotten tap shoes. I knew where the Capizio store was in Knoxville.
I think you're the only person from Knoxville who's ever said that.
All right. Here's a fun argument against getting rid of the penny. Where does it end? Because yes, it costs 1.8 cents to make a penny. But by that rationale, we should also get rid of the nickel, because guess how much it costs to make a nickel?
$8.
Come on, Hal. 10 cents.
And a dime costs 25 cents, but 25 cents only costs 1 cent, so you're making your money back.
Look, I don't know how you just did that. You just Abbott and Costello'd my brain with that math.
You're welcome.
Nope, not a thing. So also, the U.S. has discontinued a coin before. In 1857, the United States discontinued the half-cent coin because no one was using them, and they seemed useless, and like a waste of time. So they got rid of the half cent. At that time, the half cent had the modern buying power of 11 cents. So screw it. Let's get rid of the dime too. Let's just round everything to the quarter.
I'm kind of okay with that. I don't think about, here's the thing. I don't think about coins a lot because I would rather use a card or buy stuff online. And every time I pay for stuff with cash and I get coins back, I have the same reaction, which is, oh, these guys, they're back again. I get into the flower pot with you.
Yeah. Oh, flower pot. So you don't go very long until you get rid of your pennies. How often do you go to like the Coinstar machine? Because flower pot doesn't sound very large.
I'd say a couple of times a year, but we have a couple of flower pots, and right now the main one is filled with quarters for the most part, which we carried around because we might need them for parking meters. Also, the ashtray of my car is filled with coins. Both of our car ashtrays are filled with coins.
See, so you got coins coming out your ears. They're everywhere.
We do.
Did you ever have that family in your neighborhood that had? There were a couple in mine that would have the like big water bottle from the water cooler full of coins.
Yeah, I had that when I was a kid.
You were that kid?
Yes. And I'll tell you what.
Well, how much was in that when you finally emptied it?
So I'll tell you almost exactly how much was in it because it was a mixture of like pennies. There were a couple of silver dollars, $half, but the majority was like pennies, nickels, couple of like every once in a while there'd be like $1 bill or a $5 bill. Like I would put money in there, but it got filled to the point where you could not put coins in it anymore. And
all the way up to the little blue nozzle.
Yes, up to what would have been the little blue nozzle had you not taken it off. It was an open, that part of the little neck was open. There was no like little nozzle thing on it.
So how much was in it? So
I used the money in it to buy a Sega Genesis, which at the time cost, I think, $289. So
wow.
It was over $200 in the jug. And then I had whatever else was like I had been able to scrounge together. But it was a lot. And then I graduated, like that bottle is gone. And in its place, I got one of those big plastic Coca-Cola bottles that was like a giant bank. And that was filled with Coca-Cola.
And that's even bigger.
No, it was smaller. It was smaller.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking like the one that's like 2 feet tall.
No. Was it? Well, no, it was that. But a water jug is huge. You have to remember how big it is around. It's basically like a barrel with a spout on it.
True.
But yeah, it holds a lot.
You're a barrel with a spout on it.
Oh, thank you. I assume that's a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
But like you don't carry coins around with you anymore. It's just not necessary. You don't throw down a couple coins to buy a newspaper anymore. Or very hardly. I don't know if that happens. If it happens anywhere, it happens in the bodegas of New York City.
Yeah, New York City is way more of a cash town than LA is. I will say this. I'll tell you one place where you don't have to plunk down coins at all is to hear from some of our fantastic partner podcasts on the Maximum Fun Network. Listening to these messages, Hal, will cost you no coins. It'll be absolutely free. How was that for a segue?
It was great. Let's do it.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hannawalt.
And I'm Emily Heller. And if you're not listening to our podcast, Baby Geniuses, you're missing out on stuff like
Kumail Nanjiani solving the Zodiac murders.
Who's like, would you ever go to a friend and you're like, hey, could you lick all these envelopes for me? You'd be like, you're a serial killer. I'm leaving right now.
Guy Branum talking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
And it was just a great moment of like, oh no, I'm here, boys. Like, I'm on this side of the bench.
Megan Amram talking about intimidating baristas.
Just feel like they're always in character. Like, they're always in character as, like, cool hipster girl. And I just want to break through that barrier.
Plus, every week we explore a new Wikipedia page and talk to a crazy expert in the field of nonsense.
Well, any hack can make you not have a boner. I mean, it's about how you do it.
Right.
You know?
And we're the only podcast with regular updates about Martha Stewart's pony or your money back.
We're not going to give them their money back, are we?
No.
Let's keep it.
Yeah.
Listen to our show every other Monday on Maximum Fun.
Yay!
Ty is a pedantic person. I think when he pronounces these words, it's in a very show-offy way. Gyro.
Gyro.
Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu.
Ayers Rock.
Uluru.
What you are witnessing is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with real cases. They call in via Skype to Judge John Hodgman's court, the real People's Court. Now I call you to Judge John Hodgman's internet court. Find it at MaximumFun.org or wherever you download podcasts.
And we are back.
We are back.
Today we are talking about the great penny debate and Congressman Colby from Arizona, who was just on that crusade to get rid of the penny and whether or not he was right.
Yes. Now you want to talk about where you said before the argument of if we get rid of the penny, where does it stop?
Mm-hmm.
And
you seemed to be into just having quarters.
I would be okay with I'd be okay with not having quarters because I don't need to go to the arcade. Arcades don't really exist the way they did when we were kids. And
how do you keep bringing this back around to the arcade?
Because that's what quarters are for, Mark. Quarters are for feeding hungry arcade machines that will gladly exchange you a little bit of time to play a game on them.
You know what quarters have always been for me?
What's that?
Making me feel like a pirate. It's true. I would carry around a separate pouch of coins sometimes. Not like the little squishy, bendy oval that you would squeeze and, you pull coins out of it.
Yeah.
But like the one I'm rocking right now, I'll get it. Hold on a second. You may hear some noise of me moving my mic. Where did it go? God, so many we got this button. Here we go. So you hear that? That is the pirate coin purse that I'm rocking right now, which is currently, I don't carry it around with me every day. I'm not like a weirdo, but I do like having a coin purse filled with some coins. And this is filled with Australian and New Zealand coins because they are all gold. They're all gold colored and thick, which makes it really feel like doubloons.
Yeah.
And they are residing in a little leather pouch that has no seams. Do you know why this leather pouch has no seams, Hal?
I do, but I'm going to let you tell our listeners anyway.
Because this is a kangaroo scrotum that I bought when we were in Australia.
You really showed that country's animals what for.
Yeah.
Here's what I think of your genitals. I use them to hold coins that I can't spend.
No, I don't think ill of their genitals. I think well of their genitals. Well enough to preserve them and keep them in a drawer in my... it sounds weird when I put it that way.
If only you had more conversations with yourself when you're about to purchase things. I remember you getting that pouch.
Oh, I was excited.
You were
very excited.
Very proud. And you should be. Yeah. It's fun. It's a very fun thing. I think I had something like that once. Like
as a child.
It was hilarious to give me like, this pouch is a scrotum, or look at the dog's chew toy that's a dried out bull penis. Those are real things.
Yeah. Did you have a lot? Were you a novelties kid? Like, were you a Spencer Gifts kid? For those who don't know, it's a store in the mall that would sell like, fake dog poop and strobe lights and crazy stuff like that. I used to love Spencer Gifts.
Yeah. You would go there to get stuff for bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, old perverts and young perverts.
Mm-hmm.
It was
I guess I was the last one.
But as a kid, no, look, they also had a ton of like really good joke and prank stuff. And shirts with swear words on them. I loved going to Spencer's. I didn't own a lot from Spencer's. That was the store that you would go into, like, can we go into Spencer's and look around? And then you'd look at stuff and go like, I have no frame of reference for any of this really dirty stuff yet.
Yeah, I didn't care about the dirty stuff. I cared about, like, they had that little pin cushion that you could put your face in and it would make an imprint of your face.
Yes.
I loved that thing. A lot party lights, a lot of like black light stuff. I don't know how we got on this topic, but I'm a big fan of that place.
That's because it existed at a time when the penny was still relevant.
Oh, I'm just getting nostalgic now. Maybe talking about pennies is making me nostalgic for the days when they were worth something.
It does. What you can't, like, I mean, the joke is like, even penny candies cost a nickel.
Yeah.
But it's true. You have to go to like a really small remote area that's selling something that they should be giving away. And then maybe you can spend a cent on something. But it's really like it's an outdated currency. It can't be spent on its own for the most part. It has to be around other coins to really have value. Right now it rounds out coins, which is why the most recent act was, or one of the other acts that weirdo was backing was about rounding off our currency denominations, right? It's like rounding off the cost of things.
Yeah, and I don't know if they would always round up. You know what I mean? I don't know if prices would always be rounded up or whether they'd be rounded down. I mean, I guess at that point it doesn't matter. You're not really doing much rounding if you move to just 5s and 0s in your pricing. You know what I mean? It's not going to matter.
Mark. It does matter. Here's why. 1 penny by itself is not very valuable. Once you get 100 pennies together, you got $1. So do you want that dollar to be granted to you because they're rounding down? Or do you want it to be taken away because they're rounding up? You wind up losing money in the long term. It's one of those things that only like you have to sit down and like work it out on a spreadsheet to really understand the impact. But there is something to like, there is no, things don't cost $1.11 anymore. They cost $1.15 because everything's rounded up.
Or things would be rounded down.
Exactly. It's a matter of how they would do it. And I feel like,
well, let's see. There's been a study, research by a man named Robert Whaples, who's a professor of economics at Wake Forest University.
And also a super ego character.
Right. Shout out to Superego. He took data from 200,000 transactions, and he found that rounding in a what did it say here? A multi-state convenience store chain. Transactions, he did 200,000 transactions, rounded them, and realized that the net effect is customers would gain, so they would actually make money, but only 1/40th of a cent per transaction was what the average was. So it wasn't losing a penny here, losing a penny there. I don't know if 200,000 is a big enough sample size, but people actually gained 1/40th of a cent per transaction. So it's really, based on that study, it's a negligible amount.
Wasn't that the crime that Richard Pryor was committing at the beginning of Superman 3, where he was stealing fractions of cents off things?
It's the crime from a lot of stuff, I feel like. Office Space. It's the crime from it's the crime from Flash Boys, the book that is a true story about Wall Street. But we'll not get into real stories. This is about pointless things like the penny.
Yeah, don't really. Oh, so you're admitting that it's pointless.
The penny is pointless? Yeah, the penny is pointless.
So do you think the penny should go away?
You know what?
Are we ready to rule on this already? Or is there something else we have to hear?
If you're convinced, I feel like I know where this is going.
See, there's a part of me that's nostalgic though. Like I would miss, on the one hand, I love the idea of being rid of that change and potentially all change. Although I think that the Sacagawea gold dollar coins are pretty
awesome.
Badass. They're pretty great. I would love
as are the presidential versions.
Yeah, those make me feel like I'm rich. Those are like I can get in on the pirate vibe with those coins. But there is something like the penny. Like the penny is actually part of our vernacular. Like, do we lose penny for your thoughts? A penny saved is a penny earned. There'll be
because there's
generations who won't understand that.
Yes, but we have a lot of phrases and words that come from old things that people don't know about. I mean, Martin Van Buren, I think it was, had an estate called Old Kensington or Old Kenilworth or whatever it is, and used to say, that's as good as okay. And then that got shortened to that's okay. And we say okay all the time now, and we don't even know why we say it. It's just, a penny will be a bit of a nostalgic word that doesn't mean a little copper coin that you throw away.
All right. That'll probably lead to a new thing like, oh, what a penny.
Right. Calling somebody a penny because call somebody worthless. That's terrible. Don't call people worthless.
No, don't do it.
All right.
Don't bully people.
So keep the pennies that you have for nostalgia's sake. and that'll make them be worth even more.
Yeah, here's the other thing. Yeah, the pennies could be worth a ton now because once they go out of circulation, if some of them get melted down, although there are so many of them, could they ever be collectible? Like, a 2015 penny? You must be rich. How did you get that?
I mean, pennies are collectible now, just like ancient Roman coins are collectible now.
Did you ever collect coins? Like seriously collect them?
No, I would get a handful of like interesting ones when I was a kid. Like I had my bicentennial quarter because I thought those were neat.
Sure.
Yeah, and whenever I would find the penny that said ONECENT in big letters on the back, I would keep it.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I went through a very brief phase where I fancied myself a coin collector, and I had in Jenkintown there was this coin and collectibles store, which was really just coins and stamps. It wasn't like you would go in and they'd have cool stuff like baseball cards or comic books or old guns.
Or no, like real collectibles. I mean, you want like a old Nazi dagger, like the crazy collectibles.
Yeah, there's nothing that a 10-year-old Jewish kid wants more than a Nazi dagger.
And a Nazi dagger.
But I would get these blue, they were.
This is Caligula's tooth.
Yeah. Well, I would get these books that were had holes for the different coins. That it was collect all these coins. And then I realized how expensive the coins were. That was it. Look, I had no money. I was a kid, but that was also at odds with my desire to fill out the book. That's my obsessive compulsive, this book's not finished.
Sure.
I've got to fill this book, but I can't just use any old nickel I found. I've got to find a buffalo nickel.
Of course. And you would get that book and then you would wind up going to the same company that printed that book and buying those things from them. And you're like, oh, look at this. Here's the little foldy thing that has all of the presidential quarters. There's a slot for each one or the 50 state quarters. There's a slot for each one. And then you could buy the first 10 states for $8.95. And they would send you literally, you would pay $9 and they would send you a stack of quarters.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So they're trying to make money off of us with their coins.
You know what? Let's take our stand against coins right now. And not all coins, just one coin in particular. If you're ready to rule, Hal.
I'm ready to rule.
Go ahead.
People of the world. When you come to the United States soon, you might notice a difference. The people look the same, sure. The cars, the cities, the bustling activity. But you'll feel like something's missing. What could it be? It's that little poop brown coin that everybody couldn't wait to get out of their pocket. The penny's gone. Bye, Abraham Lincoln. Now you just live on the 5.
Yeah, which is worth 5,000 pennies.
Yeah.
No, 500. Never mind.
And even though Mark can't do math, I want you to understand something. I want you to understand that the penny is outdated. The penny arcade means nothing. Penny arcade is a webcomic now. That's worth more than an actual penny is going and reading. They make more when you go read that comic than the actual penny is worth. We've outgrown it. We've got to let it go. So I want you to find all the pennies you have. Just gather them all together. Take them to the bank. Trade them in for real money. And then send that money to myself and to Mark. And we will take care of it. We'll invest it for you. We know a great guy. It's a growing market right now. Don't believe the things you hear. We're going to make you rich. And all because we got rid of the penny. You're welcome.
Amen. And God bless America. Just not her smallest denomination. I mean, monetary denomination, not religious denomination.
Yeah, we're never getting into that, no matter how many times you try to push it.
Come on, best religion is our next topic.
It is not, I promise everybody. Well, OkCupid asked and answered.
Thank you for asking, and there are many more questions out there that need to be settled definitively, and we're the guys to do it, and you're the listeners to listen to us do it and yell at us later on Twitter. So reach out to us on Twitter at We Got This Tweets.
Find us on the Maximum Fun subreddit and join in the fun and suggest topics there. Or you can go to facebook.com/We Got This Podcast. Or you can email us at wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com.
As always, thank you to Mike Furman and Jonathan Dinerstein, who wrote our song and score, respectively.
Thank you to Ken Plume, our wonderful producer who mixes and masters and processes the audio going through your ears right now, and Uri Kelman, who designed the beautiful logo that passes through your eyeballs and into the dimensions of your brain.
And thank you for listening to the show and for telling your friends about it. And we really, really appreciate it. We love to keep this conversation going. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
For Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Lublin.
For Hal Lublin, I'm Mark Gagliardi. And don't worry, everyone. We got this.
We got this.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture. Artist owned.
Listener supported.